Now I want to get into the holy watchers and the evil watchers, which I would want to explain link it to science and our inability to hear sound, or the ability of those who are using these elements to control things like science, sound, or quality or appearance of soil when it's dark, or when someone could put something into the soil and someone had to dig it and now you see the soil. So I'll try to do my best to explain that one. So we're going to look at, I'll start by looking at the Book of Remembrance of Enoch, the Essence Book of Haggai. So let's look at the angels, or the watchers as they are called, 5494. The Echo de Shoy are the holy angel or sacred angels. The Dikadikoi, Enoch called them the bullies or fallen angels. This is important because if God or the Son say, I forgive you, then one of the holy angels has to embrace you. If you are forgiven, mostly you will be told to go and give a sacrifice or go and get baptized. So you have to pass through the holy watchers for the act to be accomplished or established or confirmed. Now, the holy angels, we call them the elements. So what we call fire, wind, mountains, rock, thunder, trees, rain, hills, rivers, clouds, dew, grass, these are angels. That's why Christ is saying, if people stop ululating and celebrating when he's coming riding a donkey, he said the rocks will shout, the angels will shout. So the oceans, these are still the holy angels, ocean, the sun, the fountains, animals, fruit of the tree, the moon, calendar days, calendar days and Sabbath included, the angels, the springtime, the fall, the winter, the stars. And then we have also the fallen angels or the fallen watchers. We have Samyaza here, who is the meteorite, the copper, the element that represent the fallen watchers. Mostly are the minerals, copper, coal, phosphorus, sulfur, mercury, uranium. But if you look at the fallen watchers, the elements have double usage. Originally, all the angels were holy before they rebelled. And even Samihaza used to have a holy purpose before God. And he turned it, and now he made himself just his purpose for giving pleasure. Phosphorus, he used to be a prince of God, served as a prince. Marble, intelligence of God. Now, Phosphorus, he identified himself as fear, and marble as lying. So these are the things which we are going to look at how they are used, or how we use them, or how the men of God or men of evil, being the priests, the doctors, witch doctors, the pastors, the prophets, use them. But first, so we look at the decrees of creation. Let's look at the first and second decree of creation. The first decree is that I can be a father to man in creation, but the power of the intervention of the agency of my Son, who is in the flesh, as are all men. So God is saying that that's an act of respect by God, to say for those who were not like him in his perfection and what created agency, by covering the face of the deep with darkness, we all could be out of the immediate presence of light of our awareness, and thereby be free to decide for or against the good and evil. So God is providing free agency, freedom of choice to choose good and bad for everyone, giving that to be a personal choice. And no one can have that choice if you are in the presence of God, because nothing evil can stand before God. Therefore, you won't even have the chance to choose, because if you are evil, then you'll melt away. You'll be melted away by his presence. Therefore, he chose the Son of God himself plugged into the human realm of agency to choose by an act of faith and obedience to always do good. So his Son became his representative among men to always represent God as a man. He thereby was empowered by his walk in perfection of ways, he being without sin, to be the power that God used in creation to give element form in such dimension that the very Father in heaven could reside in all the forms elements took, and thereby dwell with sinful men and love him and be a tender father to them all. So what we are saying is the elements, whether we are saying is the sulfur or phosphorus or the hill or the water or the ocean, God decided to reside in everyone. So he put the spirit of life, his spirit of life, in every one of those elements, so that through his Son and the elements, his presence will be everywhere. That's why we say God is everywhere. So if you are next to the tree, the Spirit of God is in that tree. So that tree, that's why we call them watchers or holy angels. The spirit of the angel resides in it. So now we'll go to the second decree, is that all the doings of creation and all affairs of man's salvation must be done by men through the power of the intervention of their agency. So an angel cannot come and make a choice for us. It could only advise us, and then we choose to act or not to act. Therefore, if they say worship God, let me say what? Or the center of creation is not the angels, but us. Therefore, we have priority in terms of salvation, because salvation is for people. So the angels act as mediator to pass the message from God to people, or to help us when we want to achieve something, but they cannot do something for us. Therefore, when something in terms of salvation has to be done, it has to be done through a person. A person has to act or use the elements, utilize the skill of a holy watcher to do a certain thing which will bring salvation in their work. So now we'll be seeing this Okay, let me. So if you read here, it says, the first decree which we read allowed Christ in the flesh to intervene, to allow his Father to dwell in the midst of all things in creation. And this is the very midst of sinful men. So God himself, Father, if he came, he cannot stay around us. We'll just vanish and melt away because of our sin. But his Son, being man, born as a man, he could stay around us, yet he's still perfect without sin. The second decree is an invitation from God for mankind to be equal with only begotten Son and become also his sons and daughters. He's saying that men can participate through the intervention of their agency, through their own choice, to affect the very nature of creation and the definition of salvation itself. So you could use the elements to establish or gain our salvation in righteousness. And the righteous and the holy men could, in this way, reign upon the earth as kings and priests, heavy dominion over the earth. So this means, and men could in this way intervene, determine the nature and likeness of the Son of God, and choose for themselves the nature of his being. So we could pray, we could help Christ, we could choose to make God happy. And for this reason, he is called the Son of Man. So now, I wanted to go through those 2 decrees of creation because it will help us to know how they are applied. Because now we are going to talk about them. The earth is an angel, holy angel of God. It's an element of creation. The soil is the earth. The wind, the sun. Now we need something. The reason why only traditional doctors and prophets are able to do certain things is because through the Spirit they are able to communicate with the exact language of the elements and able to converse with them and command them. So the second decree is saying, if you understand the language of an element, then you can command it to do a bidding for you in righteous. And also it applies even for the wicked. You could command, let's say, phosphorus to do a bidding in wickedness because it's an element. So the second law of creation allow that. So baloi or witchcraft, witches and evil men could use an element, command it to do bad, and the righteous also could command an element in their language to do good. So we'll read here and see the language. And Ozen, so he is a prophet, said, I do not know how to answer that for you, but I know that I am constrained to speak. Our father Yasgad, or Adam, established a knowledge. Adam was a priest, a prophet also. That there are feelings that we call languages that are from the spirit of life. So I said the elements have Father and the Son put a spirit of life in them. So you connect to that network of the spirit of life to command them. We call language that are from the spirit of life, which the Creator put into all that is holy in creation. And when you learn what specific feeling or language give life to any one of the holy watcher or angel, then your heart is in tune with them. and your heart can hear them speak their feelings to you, and the two of you can commune together and you can understand one another. For example, when it rains, if you know the language of the rain, then you can feel the rain tell you if it is sad and crying, or weeping for joy, or it is simply doing what it was created to do day by day. In this way, the feeling of it are called the language. So when you talk to the water, the hill, or if you prophesy, you're in spirit, in faith, you could prophesy and the hill will move and go to the opposite end of the earth. How? Because of the language. It's not by force, but because you are in synchro with the hill, you are communing together in love, and you ask it, brother or sister, could you move from here and go far so that for any reason that you want, and it will oblige in love and compliance. And I will tell you what those languages are. For in order for you to fulfill your task, you must instruct the angels, each in their own language, concerning the instruction written into the holy tablets of Enoch, or the holy language of heaven, which he sent to your grandmothers. And the feelings of your heart must not be to call them to be against the wicked, but to assemble, to apply themselves and act in support of the loving kindness. So the purpose of creation, command them to act, to appease God, to make God happy. And this is because all the angels, the holy angels, in their various kinds, are best instructed according to the feelings of loving kindness from the Father, and that the Son put into them when heaven was transformed into Eden. And they are familiar with their languages and will respond out of love. It's not by force, out of love. A mountain will move out of love because it hears you speaking its language. When they are addressed in their own language, they cannot be taught to hate the wicked, but only to respond out of grief. So you convince them why you're doing, how your action is beneficial to the Son and to the Father, the Creator. So this is the language that was developed by Adam and Eve and passed on. And this is the language of prophecy and the language of the Holy Spirit. And it's the same language that they understand. Okay, let me give you an example.